Well, my friends, we are back, and Marky Mark and I are doing something a little bit different, of course, under the new Oscarith brand. We're bringing to you a little something that we've been able to talk about amongst ourselves, but we thought we would bring it out to you guys and see what you guys thought about what we were discussing when it comes to DC's animated universe. Of course, now with Superman dropping and everybody saying, "Oh, it's doing great, it's making money." Let me assure you, that movie with its budget and marketing is at the $400 million mark. That's the movie budget, that's the marketing budget tied in together. Now, for some reason, when we were talking about the Snyderverse, you had to make 3 times the money to be considered a success, which the first DC movies are a success. Superman has not cleared that mark at 2 times the money. I'm just saying, it hasn't done it. Now, you can call it a success all you want to. Numbers don't lie. Which got me and Marky Mark talking. I don't want you guys to think that I'm sitting here trying to, put a damper on the movie, because the movie is good enough to take your children to and have a good experience, as long as you're not bogged down by lore, and as long as you're not trying to say, "Oh, I need all this grit, I need all this darkness." If you're that type of person, you're not going to enjoy this movie. But if you want to take something to take your grandchildren to, or you just want to kick back and just turn your mind off and say, "I just want to go enjoy Superman for what it is," then go. This is the movie for you. Okay? Now, with that being said, nothing kicks ass harder than DC's animated movies. Nothing. Not Marvel. You can't even put a Marvel movie up against a DC movie. It just does not work. We have a question, and it is from Mr. Bo Llewellyn, and this question, Mark, is for you.
All right.
Which is the best Batman comic book story from the following? Batman, The Killing Joke. Batman, The Dark Knight Returns. Batman, Year One. Batman, The Man Who Laughs. Batman, The Long Halloween. Or Batman, Death in the Family. And that's a tough one.
It is.
And that came from Bo Llewellyn. So thank you, Bo, for writing in. Guys, if you want us to answer something, all you got to do is go to the Cosmic Portal, go to my personal page, go to Marky Mark's personal page. Say, "Hey, on your next show, can you talk about this?" And we would love to hear from you guys, and we would love to put it out on the air. So this question came from Mr. Bo Llewellyn. What do you think, Mark?
All right. So I'm going to start with Batman Returns, because when I first read that, I was a kid and I thought that was so good. I could not believe that book. It was dark, and it was an older Batman that, he's beyond his prime. He stopped being Batman, and then he came back to fight again for the city. And I thought that was such a good story. I absolutely loved it. I loved the animated movie that they made from this comic book. And I think this came out with, I think, 85, and I thought it was the best thing ever. So that's probably going to be my number one choice, is Batman Returns. And the author of it is the guy that wrote the 300. So, I still love it. I have it. Um, my next choice, I probably would go with Batman Year One. I think that was fantastic as well. And from that list, uh, it's so hard. Uh,
Yeah, they're all good.
they're all
But
very
I,
good. Yeah.
I would have to say, from that list that he had given us, uh, I mean, the Killing Joke is it's good. The Dark Knight,
Yeah.
but Batman Year One and Death in the Family, because with Year One you get that whole thing with Gordon, with the bat, and the Green Beret. Gordon was a badass. You know what I mean?
He was.
But I love the way Batman instilled fear into the crime lords and the high society people, and he tells them, "You feasted well on Gotham. All that ends tonight." You know what I mean? Like,
it was good, right? God. It was very good.
Yeah. And then, of course, Death in the Family, because I actually had that comic because you had to call in. It wasn't the writers that did in Jason Todd. It was the fans. Yeah. And I knew a comic owner who said he called in twice.
That wasn't even
nobody liked Jason Todd back then. Nobody liked Jason Todd.
What was it, 75 cents or something for the call? It wasn't free.
$1.95 or something like that.
$1.95. Yeah, I knew it was something weird. I didn't call because I was like, well, they're charging you to do it. I was like, I can't do that. But it was a good story. I did enjoy that, but I don't know. For some reason, I always remember reading, Batman Returns as a kid, and I thought that was just the best story ever. And then to see it in, the cartoon version, I was so hyped about that one. So that's my number one for that. That's of those. Now, when it comes to the new stuff, this is my favorite. Batman Hush. I got the comic book. I love this comic book. I've read it twice now, I think. And then I also have the movie. So this is my favorite comic book, Batman Hush.
Listen, now, my daughter is doing a diamond art of that scene.
Oh, okay.
I bought Batman and Hush in the graveyard for the figures. So I'm gonna have that over my bed, and then the figures over that, under that, you know what I mean? Because that little scene, because that was a kick-ass story.
It is. It definitely is.
Yeah.
So that's why I said this. I know he didn't put it on the list, but that's my number one.
Hush. Hush is your number one. Well, I mean, if I'm gonna go with my I would still have to go with Year One because there was nothing else for me that beginning for Batman. That Gotham Knights was okay too because it followed the movie though. You know what I mean? This is what happened in between Batman and Dark Knight. Correct. This slice right here.
Yeah.
So, but all of that, especially with the rebirth of DC, and then you get the whole new thing of DC. Justice League War, Batman versus Robin, Son of Batman, and all this other stuff. So I always gravitate towards Batman anyway. The only thing I didn't like about Batman, the common thug, the street criminal had no chance against Batman, but every supervillain could almost go toe to toe with Batman. And the director said he didn't want his Batman to seem like he was all powerful. Batman on any given day can whip the Penguin, can whip the Riddler.
Yes.
You should have just started off with the Court of Owls and kept that the theme if that's what you were going for. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. It seemed like every time that he went up against a villain, unless you bring in Slade. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't think they don't think of these things. Batman should not be, like I said, Riddler, Penguin. Joker might even give him a good run for the money, but the rest of these guys, come on.
No, not.
But I did enjoy the stories.
Yes.
Damian, I didn't like Damian at first. It took a while for him to grow on me.
And then of course he's like one of the best new things that is coming to Batman is Damian.
Oh yeah.
And I have to agree with you. I wasn't a fan, but I love his character, I love him every time I see him because I know he's got that edge being raised by his grandfather. Yeah, Ra's al Ghul by his grandfather. And especially when you think about him going up against Nightwing and Nightwing really never holds back, and yet he still can go toe to toe with him. So that's what I
And
like.
Nightwing is his favorite Batman.
Yes.
He'd rather be with Nightwing as Batman than his own father. I thought that was always cool.
Yeah.
And see, I can see James Gunn doing Dick Grayson as that Batman with him.
Yeah.
I could see that because that would allow, because Dick Grayson is still, he's a young man. I guess he would be more hipper and willing to be more that funny, ha ha he kind of Batman versus, because I'm telling you, if you give me Bruce Wayne, I'm expecting this stoic, not talking, looking at you like you're a fool Batman. When you have Dick Grayson, him and Robin, that him and Damian, that whole back and forth between those two.
They do a lot of that, don't they? Yeah, I love that. So
That can be a James Gunn thing. I wouldn't
yeah.
mind that. I would go see that because I know James Gunn could do that well.
Right.
It's just when it comes to Bruce Wayne, I would prefer maybe Christopher Nolan, somebody that's going to give me a serious Batman. I don't want a ha ha he he Batman unless it's Dick Grayson as Batman.
I don't ever see that happening. I hope so. I know you've heard the news about the casting. What do you think, Henry Cavill as Batman?
I don't think that's true.
I was hoping it wasn't, but it's been out there now, so.
I don't know. I think they're just throwing it out there to see it. But if we do get Henry Cavill as Batman, he saw Ben Affleck's take on it. He's going to put his own spin on it. I don't know. I still kind of feel like I don't know. I think that's their way of pushing him away from the whole Superman. Let's get him off of Superman because we have a Superman now. Let's get the eye off of him.
Yeah.
Somebody brought in today at Yester Toys. They brought in another Black Adam, and they brought in the Shazam.
Oh wow! Okay.
The two action figures, and I just kept looking at Black Adam, and I would look it over at whatchamacallit, and I'm just like, there's just no way.
Yeah.
None. We have Superman, Shazam Superman, where all three of them meet.
Yeah.
For the first time. And, Black Adam is just, just whipping butt and taking names. And, I'm like.
And when you say that, Shazam got really dark in that story, because he was like, I have to kill him for him to stop, and he was going to kill Black Adam. So, yeah, when you got and this was still not James Gunn that wrote, Shazam movies.
It was Duffy.
Yeah.
That was Duffy.
When I look at that, it was just a comic thing. And I was like, this Shazam could never beat The Rock as Black Adam in that universe, So
no.
That brought me to the question that we had as well. Like, you're using these characters, should they be comic book accurate when you come up with this? We know what these stories are. Most of the fans that are out there know these stories before we go to it. And then you're coming up with something, that should it be more accurate to the comic book, not that ha-ha-he thing. Like Shazam, he's not really always funny. And I don't understand why he was like so stupid to be so smart. When you got that second movie, that was just so dumb, and it was bad for me. But what would you want to see him more comic book accurate? And do you think it would have done better?
If it was comic book accurate, yes, I think it would have done better. The problem is now, again, they they only think in terms of what's going to fill these seats. Well, it's summertime. Only the kids have time to go to a movie over and over and over again. I drove by Regal Cinemas, and for $21 a month, you can go see a movie over and over and over again. My problem is you haven't given me a movie worthy of me coming back here to see a movie over and over and over and over and over again. You just haven't given me anything where I want to sit here and watch something over and over again. And then you want to bring in movies that are on streaming where I can sit in my own place where I don't have to worry about somebody coming sitting next to me or, or somebody's loud kid. I'm right here where I don't have to mess with any of that.
True.
So, it's bad because we're at that time where streaming is king, but Disney comes out and says, oh, streaming is dead. You give us these movies, but then you go, turn your comic book brain off. You're making a comic book movie.
Yeah, that's where these characters come from.
So why would we turn our comic book brains off? Because, so far, most of these things have worked so well when we've done that. I don't get it, and it's the powers that be that make these stupid decisions and ruin what we have. And actually, I was talking to Bo the other day, and me and him were talking. And he was like, they're not making stuff for Gen Xers anymore. Our time has passed. And I said, yeah, I've already said that. They're not making stuff for us. The Superman movie is definitely not for me. I like grit. I like, that dark, serious tone to my heroes. When you start doing that Marvel formula, it turns me off. I don't even want to see another Spider-Man movie. I'm over it. Yawn. I'm over it. I don't think it's something I want to invest my time in anymore. And it's not that it's superhero fatigue. It's writer's fatigue. These people that are writing this stuff, it's just bad. Everybody shits on Black Adam. And I'm like, do you know how powerful that film really is? That undertone. You have this group of people being controlled by intergang, but nobody interferes for truth, justice for everyone, but nobody interferes. But when a powerhouse comes up to defend these little people, all of a sudden you need to be stopped.
Oh, yeah.
You need to stop. Why is that? I found the message refreshing. Yeah. I love the movie. I bought the statues. I bought the action figure. I got a whole shelf. Look at that. Look at all those Black Adams over there. Look at them. Look at all those little Black Adams over there. I got them all over there. So I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was done well. I don't think it did what it was. I don't think it made its budget. I think it might have tied its budget, which still makes it an unsuccessful film. I still love it. If I ever got saw The Rock, he would have to sign it Teth Adam for me. You know what I mean? But Spider-Man 1 and 3, best Spider movies of all time. Tobey Maguire. I like Tobey. He's my Spider-Man. The rest of them,
first two, but I didn't like the third one.
Oh, I didn't like the third one either.
And then, since we're talking about that, and we're talking about the characters, the last Spider-Man movie, actually it was the one before it, where you have Mysterio as the bad guy. And I'm like, if you know comic books, you already know he is the bad guy, but you make him to be the good guy. Who wrote that stuff? And I'm like, it's not people that read a comic book, because everybody else knows that Mysterio is the bad guy. He died a hero and made Spider-Man look like the villain. So that one just tore me out of that movie completely.
we that's the thing. They don't, like you said, they just don't. And it's the studio execs. Hey, we're gonna do this movie, Marky Mark. I need you to come on board. We're gonna do this movie on The Question. It's gonna be this love story. I don't want you to no source material. I want you to think of it more of a noir type of a feel to this thing. A conspiracy theory meets X-Files type deal. That's what we're going with. But don't look at any of the comics. We're not going that route. And his love interest is going to be this non-binary person who no one's ever heard of, and they're going to be the lead, but they'll never turn into The Question. They're just going to be there because we need representation.
Okay. I know you. That's how stuff is written, because I looked at it when I was watching Supergirl on TV, and after an episode play, I was like, "Who the hell wrote that?" And then I would read their bio to see, what they had read or what they had done, just to figure out where that came from. Because that annoyed me so much when I would look at something and I'm like, well, that's not who this character is. So I always figured it out. The one show that I thought was really good was Stargirl. It was created by Jeff Jones, and he wrote the episodes. So I loved that show, and then it got canceled. But he made sure it was true to the source material, where nothing else that was on the CW was true to the source material. We got what was that? Legends of Tomorrow. After season 2, all they wanted to do was have sex when they go to a time zone, and I'm like, where did this come from? And then Canary, she's now a lesbian with the girl from the time paradox or whatever they were.
She's not actually a lesbian. She's bi, because I think she did it with Constantine too, who is now also bi.
Okay.
My thing is, they focus so much on these heroes' sexuality, and I can tell you, as a fan, I don't care who they're screwing. Yeah. I need them to suit up and kick villain butt. I'm not here to see Batman fall in love with Catwoman. I don't care about that.
Yeah,
I'm here to see him put that mask on, throw a batarang at somebody, escape a few stupid, sinister traps, and at the end of the day, return back to the Batcave and, go take his nap or whatever he's going to do. That's what I need to see. I don't care. Obviously, Superman with Lois, and now they keep changing that up where Lois Lane, I knew you were Superman all along, blah, 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 because, a pair of glasses, what a stupid excuse. Now the new movie, those are hypno glasses, right? When you look at them, they're hypno glasses. I'm like.
But see, that was the comic book in the 50s, was the hypno glasses. So that's comic book accurate that he wears hypno glasses. So they got that from that, back then.
All I'm saying is explain it a little bit more.
Correct.
Other than just telling me they're hypno glass, and I'm like, well, what do you mean hypno glasses? Give me. They just touched on stuff and said, well, that'd be good enough. It's sort of like the whole J.J. Abrams thing. We're going to do this. We'll let the guy in the novel give the details to it, but now we're just going to keep on going.
Yeah.
What makes you think I'm going to read your novel? If your movie sucked, I'm damn sure not going to go back and read the book. I mean, I just don't get it, and why they keep doing that. I love DC's animated stuff. The last big show we got was the Crisis on Infinite Earths, 3 parts, and we're gonna get to that in a second, Jedi Joe. The 3 parts, and then I got to see Kevin Conroy deliver his iconic last lines as Batman. I'm gonna go out. I want to go out like this, being Batman. And I was just like, oh, and then they show him fading out. I'm like, you killed off my favorite part of the DC universe to usher in this new. And Creature Commandos was great. It surprised me. It was great. So I'm just along for the ride at this point. I still own Batman the Animated Series, so I can go back to it whenever I want to. And it is often. But, you know, I hope they can continue to do the good work that DC was doing before this. We got the Batman versus the Yakuza Part 2. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
and I'll say the last one that I enjoyed was, what is it? Batman and Superman Battle of the Super Sons, where their kids were fighting the Justice League. And that came out last year. That was very good.
Robin's a dick in that movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was, but then that's Damian Wayne. You know,
yeah.
So you're gonna get what you get with that.
Yeah. All right. So before we round out, Jedi Joe had asked a question, and again, I want to thank Mr. Bo Llewellyn for his question to Marky Mark, which gave us this platform. And then, of course, Jedi Joe just asked us, what were our thoughts on Fantastic Four First Steps? Marky Mark.
I enjoyed the movie. I had no real big issues with it. This is Earth 828, not the Prime Universe, because that's 619. So there are a few things that I didn't enjoy, but for the most part, it wasn't too bad. We have Mr. Fantastic. I wasn't a fan of his character that much. And I don't know if it was the actor or the character. We didn't really get to see him stretch as much. He was just mainly using his brain. I enjoyed Galactus. The Silver Surfer being a female was a little different. What I kept saying, if you want to use a different Herald, you didn't have to use a Silver Surfer at all. They could have used the girl that's on fire because she is a female Herald of Galactus. So they could have went with her if you wanted a female character. So that would have been different. Other than that, the one thing I would say is you had the robot and you had, the Human Torch. The Human Torch was replaced by the robot in the cartoon because they were afraid kids were going to set themselves on fire in the 70s when the cartoon was made. So to have both of them in there was different. But for the story, I thought it was a great story. My only issues with it was the ending. I think they should have switched the two after credit scenes around because the second one to me was just it was not a good ending. They should have went with the other one first. I mean that one first and then gone with the major one as the closing credit. And I think it would have been a better ending and a way to show what's coming up for the next movie. So that would have been my only issues with what we saw.
I liked it better than Superman, and this is coming from a DC fan. And I still can't believe I'm saying it, but I love Galactus. I thought he was the coolest thing about the movie. I thought the thing should have had a more, rough, gravelly voice, instead of that kind of high pitched, I will say this. I saw it. Will I see it again? If it's on TV, I might. I'm not rushing out to go to the theaters to see it again or anything like that. No. It's, again, I think we have Pedro Pascal fatigue.
That could be it.
He's in everything. I like him in The Mandalorian because he doesn't take off his helmet. Last of Us, he's riding that. And then, he was in Narcos, which was great. Next thing you know, he's in The Mandalorian. He was also in Game of Thrones. Then he's in Wonder Woman 84.
1984.
Then he's back in the Mandalorian, and then it's too much. It's too much. And then, because you get to hear his political views, which kind of snaps you out of that reality of fan bubble. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I wish Marvel the best, because this whole Secret Wars and Doctor Doom thing, because they're going to he was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I guess, according to Taco Cat.
Pedro Pascal? I don't remember that. Okay.
I don't either, but or maybe he's in the new revival of Buffy.
That's a possibility.
I don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just it's gotten to the point where you're like, oh God, here we go. You know what I mean? So, although I gotta say, James Gunn has a hit with Creature Commandos. It was good. It was something that I didn't think was going to keep my attention, and it did, because it was violent, it was rough, it had my shtick in it. You know what I mean? So, Robot, I love the robot, IG Robot. I loved him, and Nazis.
Yeah. I am that.
And Weasel, a character again that I hated. I hated him in the movie. But James Gunn flushed out his backstory to the point I was just like, God, I love that character. I mean, that guy, when you can make me feel for a character that I could give a flying F about, and now I'm like, that's
I even like the Bride. I thought she kicked ass.
Come on now.
I love her.
And then I want to be Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah, and then to watch the monster, he's all crying about everything.
Oh my God. I love the way he was, and
yeah.
I like Harry Met Sally, and he's so
but it was it's a
Gun,
good
you have
story,
a hit with Creature Commandos. I hate to say it, I'm not a John Cena fan, but I love Peacemaker. Yep. I just can't hate on it. It's that good. So, guys, we're going to be back on the 20th with a special Fellowship of Fandom, right?
Yeah,
Fellowship of Fandom, where we're gathering Jedi Joe, Taco Cat, and Miss Liz, hopefully Lady Gray, Admiral Xena. We're all going to come together like we used to for the round table and give you a little bit of that old school feel as we talk to someone who has started a convention and started flourishing with it. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to try to come back to some type of schedule where we can all get together under one place at one time, share our point of view with you, the viewers, and our fellow friends, the Fellowship of Fandom. So join us that time next week on the 20th of August as we do that. Marky, anything else you want to say before we close out?
Well, we do, like you just said, we have John Cena's show coming back. I think that'll be in the 23rd or in 2 weeks. So I will probably do a review of at least the first 2 episodes once they drop. I'm doing a DC review to give my take on that. So that'll probably be my next DC thing I'll be putting out there.
You heard it. The DC reviewer is back. So, guys, I want to thank you for joining us here on the Oscarith. This is going to be the flagship. Of course, we're LLC. There's my number at the bottom if you want to holler at me about something that's going on. If you want to know about what we're doing, always go to the website. And I got the cards ready, Mark, so I can redo yours so you can hit the tap, and then you can find us all on our social medias and, of course, our official website. So, wishing you nothing but life, prosperity, and health.